Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Teams at War. This one is going to be a quick one because this round will be a speed round. The players don't know this yet, but they will get very minimal time after the challenge to get ready for the eviction. Will any of them find time to decide what to do at the next eviction? We will find all of this out soon.
It's night 8 in the game, and it's post-eviction currently. Chris and Alessandro feel very confident going forward as they feel comfortable with who they are surrounded by. Alessandro confirms that Hannah is the main target still, followed by Zoe and Priscilla. Those are the only three that would potentially try to take him and Chris out. Chris agrees and even starts to suspect Millie a bit because she has been very dodgy with her lately. Alessandro shrugs and says he finds her hard to read, but she's not that much of a concern in general because nobody really trusts her fully. Meanwhile upstairs, Hannah and Levique have a late-night snack and Millie joins them at the table. She asks Hannah how she's holding up after the failed Alessandro vote and she simply shrugs in response. Levique eyes Hannah but Hannah continues to chew on her food, clearly annoyed at him for voting Kat out. He then asks her if she's upset over the last vote, and she straight up says yes. She thought people would listen to her points about Alessandro's threat level, but instead they decided to take out a weak player in Kat. She basically had no control in the game. Levique talks about how important trust is in the game, and Kat barely built much trust with him. Hannah then asks him if he trusts Alessandro because clearly his ride or die is Chris and not him. Millie tries to crush any heat here and says that they can try to take a shot at him or Chris next if the opportunity arises. Levique doesn't say much because he doesn't want to falsely promise anything. Josh and Alessandro chat later as Alessandro tries to confirm why he voted Bart. Josh admits he just wanted to throw off the others since they have a trio alliance with him. He doesn't want anyone else catching onto it, so he decided to throw his vote onto him, knowing very well Kat was going home anyway. Alessandro nods and says that the plan is still to take Hannah out. If she wins safety again, plan B is either Zoe or Priscilla. Josh is good with this plan and says he'll continue to keep his distance from him and Bart. By the staircase, Tamara runs into Levique and quickly chats with him while everyone else is downstairs in the bathroom, getting ready for bed. She asks him what their next move should be and Levique thinks it might be time to break up Chris and Alessandro. Of course, Hannah is a major threat long-term, but so are Alessandro and Chris. Tamara says that it'll really depend on how everyone else feels and who wins the challenge tomorrow. They can only control the vote if they have enough numbers on the safe side. If her team and yellow team lose for instance, they will simply need to back away and let Priscilla or Zoe go home instead, preferably Zoe since Priscilla trusts them. Levique breathes out and hopes nothing goes too crazy tomorrow. A new day is finally here. It's day 9, meaning we are finally past the halfway point. That's something to celebrate. Well, for this next challenge, the players must remain in the water as long as possible. The last person left in the pool will win safety for their team and can save one other team from eviction. The longer the challenge goes on for, the less time they will have before the eviction to talk amongst each other. Another rule is that they must not talk with one another. Talking is prohibited or else you are automatically eliminated. One more thing. The current basement dwellers will get punished if their team isn't safe tonight. As a reminder, Millie, Zoe, Chris, and Byrie live in the basement room right now. The two who lose today will get an extra vote cast on themselves, meaning they would automatically start the eviction with one vote on them. The challenge then begins with everyone swimming around. Chris almost touches the rim with her arm, which would have gotten her eliminated, but she remains in the challenge. Never mind. She threw the challenge, probably because she wants Hannah gone desperately. We're down to 10 people now. All of them are fighting for a confirmed spot in the jury phase since this round is the last round before jury. Some people decide to stop swimming around, realizing they should preserve their energy. After several hours of nobody dropping out, Bart decides to end the challenge for himself as he doesn't see himself winning anyway. Alessandro soon comes in 9th place as he tires out from swimming around for too long. Not the wisest thing to do, Alessandro. Another hour passes and Byrie has had enough. Much later, Priscilla also drops out, meaning we are down to 6 people. Josh, Millie, Tamara, Zoe, Hannah, and Lavik. A little bit later, Josh decides to get out since he thinks it's better for his team to lose anyway. He just needs Hannah to get out. But in 5th place is Millie, which means blue team is completely out, leaving just 3 teams fighting for safety. Lavik also gets eliminated, meaning yellow is now eliminated fully. That leaves 3 people. Both pink members stay strong and Hannah remains on red. Much later, Zoe drops out, meaning it's Tamara against Hannah for safety. However, Tamara has had enough eventually, meaning Hannah has yet again won safety for the red team. Since Chris currently has the basement bed assigned to her, she technically did not win this challenge on her own, meaning she remains in the basement room. Now on to Hannah's safety decision. She finds this pretty easy for her because she wants to continue building her trust with Byrie, Lavik, and Priscilla. Her hope is to have them vote Alessandro tonight, but knowing them, they tend to take the easy route. Either way, she saves yellow from eviction tonight, and since Byrie has been saved, they will need to reassign the basement bed to either Lavik or Priscilla. No surprise here, Byrie picks Priscilla to get the bed back. Final reminder, Millie and Zoe will receive 1 extra vote on themselves due to their punishment as basement dwellers. Back in the house, everyone gets ready for the eviction straight away because there's only a few minutes to prepare. Byrie is in one of the bedrooms, trying to decide what to do. They know Alessandro and Zoe are the main ones on the chopping block tonight. They just need to vote the one they see as the bigger threat to their game going forward. Alessandro is a good ally while Zoe isn't aligned with Byrie, but it's also a fact that Zoe is a much weaker player than Alessandro. Decisions. Chris quickly chats with Priscilla outside in the cold while still in their bathing suits. Not to mention, Priscilla is heating up a quick meal to have before the eviction. Anyway, Chris tells her they don't have much time to chat, so she will instead suggest a name she heard from before. Priscilla listens in and Chris says to vote for Millie. Priscilla asks who is part of that vote, and Chris says they can put their 2 votes on her and she already has an extra vote on herself. Meanwhile, Lavik and Byrie will vote Zoe tonight, and Hannah and Josh might vote Alessandro. Therefore, they can force a tie where Hannah would need to break it. Knowing her, she'll evict Millie because she constantly claims that Zoe is not a threat. Priscilla says she'll do it then and the 2 of them are settled for this eviction vote. Well, time is up. Nobody else had conversations about the vote after the challenge. Let's get right into the action.
Good evening. It's now time for us to check in with the house. Who will be evicted? Will it be someone from the pink team again, or someone from the blue team this time? Hi, house guests. Glad to see you all again. Congratulations yet again, Hannah, for winning safety for her team. She decided to save the yellow team again, meaning none of them can get voted out. Pink and blue are the ones in danger tonight, and they will not be voting. In addition, due to the basement punishment this round, Millie and Zoe will start off with 1 vote cast against them each. Without further ado, let's get into this eviction. Chris, you're up first. Chris, who will you evict tonight? Your vote for Millie is locked in. Josh, to the diary room. Hannah, who are you evicting? Thank you. Priscilla, you're next. Byrie, who will you evict? Thank you, Byrie. Lavique. Thank you, Lavique. House guests, I have the voting results. If I say your name, you received at least one vote, and that includes the punishment votes. Millie, Zoe, Alessandro, and Bart. Bart, you received just one vote. That means you are safe tonight. Another player received only one vote. Zoe, that is you, meaning you are also safe. That means we are down to Millie and Alessandro. One of them received 2 votes, while the other received 4. With 4 votes, the next house guest evicted from Teams at War is Alessandro. Please say your goodbyes and head out of the house.
Alessandro sticks his head out, startled by the blindside vote. Lavique stares at him and mouths the word sorry. Alessandro and Chris hug it out as Chris confirms she voted Millie, not knowing he would actually head out. Alessandro says goodbye to everyone and then heads out of the house. Next time on Teams at War, after finally taking out Alessandro, Hannah is over the moon. But she shouldn't feel too safe yet because Byrie is her newest enemy, trying to campaign against her. Will Chris be able to survive after clearly being on the outs of the last eviction? How will Bart and Chris act in front of Lavique and Tamara now? Is the majority alliance dead? So many questions that may or may not be answered on the next episode this Thursday. You don't want to miss it. I promise. Alessandro's final words. Alessandro was obviously blindsided tonight as he expected Zoe to go. Turns out, Chris tried to take Millie out, which clearly didn't work because Lavique, Byrie, and Priscilla all voted him out along with Hannah. It sucks that Hannah got her way finally by getting him out. He also just barely missed jury, which sucks on its own. At this point, Alessandro hopes Chris wins. He thinks she is still capable of winning despite being on the bottom now. She has strong personal connections to some people, including Byrie. If she can use that to her advantage, these people won't take her out just yet.